If you spent any time with non-dual inquiry or Advaita Vedanta, you already know the core formula. You are the seer, not the seen. Correct? You've learned to step back from your thoughts. You've noticed that sensations, emotions, and self talk are just objects passing through awareness. All of this has been discussed. You can sit silently and observe the mind doing its thing without getting swept away. If you are honest, after a few months or a few years of resting as the witness, a subtle frustration sets in. You realize that being the witness has slowly become another subtle task. There is me over here, silently watching my mind over there. Before you even realize this, the ego hijacks the seat of awareness. Now, watching thoughts becomes something you do. You are stuck in a refined, spiritualized duality between the seer and the seen. And this is where most spiritual seekers stall out for years. They assume the final goal is to just keep witnessing harder till the mind eventually turns off forever. Advaita Vedanta does not leave you stuck in the witness position. The Upanishads point that as long as there is an attempt to witness, you are still operating with a dualistic thought wave. An aham vritti, I am the observer. It's like a wall, the final wall. To break through that final wall, the mind must undergo one ultimate definitive shift. In classical Vedanta, this pivotal mechanism is called Akhandakara Vritti or Charamaatma Vritti. And we are going to learn that with a simple exercise in this video. So now that we have asked the questions, the ultimate question is how do we actually bridge this gap? How do you move from effortfully sitting in silence to a state where meditation isn't something you do, but what you naturally are? To understand this, we have to look at a mechanism that most modern spiritual teachers rarely talk about. They rarely talk about, but classical Advaita Vedanta considers this the absolute pinnacle of self inquiry. A lot of technical terms here, isn't it? Don't let them intimidate you. Vritti simply means a wave or a modification of the mind. Every thought, memory, or sensory perception you've ever had is just a vritti. It is that simple. Charama means the ultimate or the final. We are decoding these things here to simplify it. So, Charama vritti literally translates to the final thought. Now, see, most people believe that enlightenment requires permanently stopping every single thought in your brain. They spend decades trying to coerce the mind into a blank, thoughtless void. But we can't coerce things. Advaita says you don't need to kill every thought. You only need one specific thought to end the necessity of thinking. Now we have to break down all of this. We have to understand why is it that it is so. And to understand these things, we have to look at how the Vedantic wisdom actually works inside the human mind. So Vedanta makes a crucial distinction between two kinds of consciousness, Swarupa Jnana and Vritti Jnana. Swarupa Jnana is your true nature, pure, unconditioned consciousness. It is always present, like sunlight beaming down the earth. Now you think that because consciousness is always here, it would automatically destroy your self doubt, anxiety, ignorance, avidya. But it does not. And why is that? Because broad ambient sunlight does not burn a dry leaf on its own, does it? It simply illuminates it. Is the sunlight burning us? It is simply illuminating us. To burn through the leaf of ignorance, you need a lens to focus that sunlight into a single razor sharp point. And that lens, my friend, is Akhandakara Vritti. It is a specific razor sharp modification of the intellect where the mind takes the exact shape of unbroken, boundaryless reality. I am not this isolated body mind observing the world. I am the non dual, limitless consciousness in which everything arises. When that exact realization forms clearly in the mind, it focuses the light of pure awareness and incinerates the fundamental ignorance on the spot. So, now that we have discussed how it works, you might naturally ask, wait, if Akhandakara Vritti is still a thought inside the mind, doesn't that mean I'm still caught in the mind? Won't I have to keep holding on to that thought forever? And this brings us to the most incredible property of the Charamavritti. It is completely self destructing. Ancient Vedantic texts use a famous analogy to explain this: the Kataka nut, or the clearing nut. In ancient India, when water in a well became muddy, villagers would crush the Kataka nut and toss the powder into the dirty water. The powder had a unique chemical property. It bound to all the floating dirt particles, weighed them down, dragged them to the very bottom, and then fully dissolved itself. It left behind no dirt and no powder, only pure, crystal clear water. Charma Atma Vritti works in the exact same manner. It enters the mind and binds to the root ego thought, Aham Vritti, the false belief that you are a separate meditator trying to reach a goal, and it destroys it. And then, having done the job, it self destructs. It leaves behind no ego, no mental effort, and no meditator. What remains is simply the effortless, unbroken reality of what you have always been. Which brings us again to the direct practical question: what does this shift actually feel like in real time? Let us run a quick 30-second experiment right now to see for yourself. Right now, wherever you are, whether you are sitting at a desk, walking with headphones, sitting somewhere like me, or lying down, let us do a quick 30-second experiment together. You do not need to change your posture, close your eyes, or try to quiet your thoughts. Just follow this simple inquiry. First, take a moment to notice whatever sound is present in your environment right now. It could be the humming of the overhead fan, the traffic outside, the hum of the computer, or even the sound of my voice. Let just that sound be there. Normally, your mind instantly sets up a border. It says, here am I, sitting inside this head, listening to that sound over there. And that creates a division between the seer and the seen. Now, here is the experiment. Look directly at the boundary line between you and the sound. Where exactly does the hearing stop and where does the sound begin? Look for the listener. Can you find a physical wedge where you end and the sound starts? Or is there simply a seamless, unbroken field of awareness in which hearing is happening spontaneously? If you stop using mental labels for just 1 second, the border completely vanishes. There is no person listening to a sound. There is only the unbroken reality of hearing itself. And that is what the word akhanda literally means: unbroken, continuous, undivided. When you practice standard meditation, you are constantly trying to keep the listener still. But in this direct recognition, you realize that the listener was just a thought to begin with. And when that boundary collapses, even for a split second, you aren't doing meditation anymore. You are abiding as the boundaryless space that meditation was trying to reach. Let us assume that the boundary has collapsed. We have to assume. What happens after this boundary collapses? What happens next? Where does this leave your daily practice? This brings us to the shift from formal practice or sadhana to natural, effortless abiding, what Advaita Vedanta calls Sahaja Sthiti. Swami Ramana Maharshi used to give a brilliant illustration of how spiritual practice works. He explained that when you start out, your mind is full of chaotic, agitated thoughts. So you use a good thought like watching the breath, self inquiry, or holding the stance of the witness to clean out the bad thoughts. It's like using a stick to stir a burning campfire and keep it burning cleanly. But here is where almost every meditator gets stuck. They keep holding on to the stick. They make being the meditator their permanent identity. Swami Ramana Maharshi said, once the fire of knowledge is fully lit, you toss the stick into the fire too. And that is what most of us miss doing. The stick burns away along with the wood, leaving only pure, radiant heat. And that is the moment meditation stops being an event on your calendar. Think about the fundamental difference between these two mindsets. In the practice phase, meditation is a timed event. I am going to sit on this cushion for 20 minutes and quiet my mind. Isn't that what we say? It has a clear start, a struggle in the middle, and an end when the timer rings, when 20 minutes are over. Isn't it? In the realization phase, Akhandakara Vritti reveals that meditation was never an activity you performed. It was simply the removal of the false assumption that you were ever separate from consciousness in the first place. You don't need to enter meditation anymore because you realize that you can't step out of consciousness even if you tried. Thoughts come, they arise in consciousness. Silence comes, it arises in consciousness. Traffic noise, work stress, emotional waves, they are all just temporary shapes consciousness is taking. When you stop trying to manage the contents of the mind, every moment becomes your natural state. If you take away just one thing from this video, let it be this: you do not need 30 more years of sitting in silence trying to force every single brain wave to go quiet. You don't need to become a master at suppressing your thoughts. You only need the single ultimate recognition, the charamavritti, that the one sitting there trying so hard to quiet the mind is just another thought passing through the room. The next time you catch yourself struggling to get into the meditative state, pause and drop the controller. Notice that the space in which that struggle is happening is already still, already quiet, and already complete. Stop trying to stabilize the witness. Let the witness dissolve into the untouched space it's witnessing. That is where meditation ends and freedom begins. Om Kala Bhairava Namah.